Few days ago, I was reading an article about why the sense of smell, the human sense of smell, is the only thing that actually skips logic and just goes directly to the brain. Like you smell it and you can just sense it right away. And I found this so fascinating because I think this is why it's so important to smell nice, like use fragrances. And a lot of people might consider fragrance to be something frivolous, but it's not, because fragrance can actually boost your confidence. It can communicate how you feel or you as a person to another person without you saying a word, because also backed by science, 80% of human communication is nonverbal. So there's a lot you're doing without actually saying anything. And I think the way you smell is also one of those things. So I just got back from the gym and I was gonna record a video, but before doing that, I was thinking of going into the shower, getting something to eat. And I know by the time I do that, I'm not gonna have the energy or even the motivation anymore to record this video. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna record this video. I'm not going to a tech talk or something that I have to shower. I'm here out of the gym and I'm just gonna record this video. And it's also one of my mottos as we're going into 2026 to just do it and stop overthinking the process. Because by the time I map out the entire process, I'm gonna lose the motivation to do it because it's gonna feel like a lot I need to do. I'm sure I'm not the only person feeling this. We can all relate to this on some level, but here we are. So a few days ago, I was reading an article about why the sense of smell, the human sense of smell, is the only thing that actually skips logic and just goes directly to the brain. Like you smell it and you can just sense it right away. And I found this so fascinating because I think this is why it's so important to smell nice, like use fragrances. And a lot of people might consider fragrance to be something frivolous, but it's not, because fragrance can actually boost your confidence. It can communicate how you feel or you as a person to another person without you saying a word, because also backed by science, 80% of human communication is nonverbal. So there's a lot you're doing without actually saying anything. And I think the way you smell is also one of those things, and it communicates a lot to another person before you actually even say a word. And I believe smell and fragrance can also unlock old memories that you've forgotten you had. And I think that's why we can easily go into a bakery and it reminds us of our grandmother, or you smell a particular flower and it reminds you of someone. And I believe fragrances aren't as frivolous as a lot of people make it seem. It can actually boost your mood, like legit. This is proven by science. It can boost your confidence. It can say a lot about you before you say anything. And I know the challenge that most people face is choosing the right fragrance, because buying fragrance and smelling different fragrances can be overwhelming. Like when you walk into a store, by the time you spray like 2-3 fragrances, you're done. Like you don't know what is what anymore. So I understand how that can be overwhelming. And I know fragrance is something that when you also put it on, it morphs with your natural pheromones. So the way it smells on you is going to be different from how it smells on another person. So it's about identifying what fragrance to use for what, and using it for the advantages. So let's review some of the fragrances that have been sent to me by some of the brands I've worked with in the past, and I've been using this fragrance just to see how they feel, and I've decided to categorize them into 3 main categories, which is day wear, high activities like the gym, and also evening. And these fragrances have been divided into this category just based on how I feel they work the most personally for me, because one of the reasons why I also partner with this brand is to try the product and see for myself how it feels and what part of my days it actually fits into. So the first fragrance here is Replica by Maison Margiela, and this I've been using for a while. This is soft, airy, familiar. It's one of those fragrances you can wear to work, because not every fragrance belongs at work. You don't want the idea of a day wear fragrance is to support your overall look, to complement your outfit or whatever, to make you smell nice, but not to overpower the room. So there's some fragrances that you should actually know where to work, but this is one of those fragrances that is just super nice. It's familiar, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's just right. The next fragrance here is Myself by YSL, and I'll say this fragrance is fresh, modern, and you can definitely wear it to work. It's something you can wear to meetings, you can hang out with. It's very fresh, very modern, very confident out there. The next fragrance here is Born to be Unforgettable by Kilian. This fragrance particularly is one of my favorite. I think it's fun and playful. It's not one of those fragrances that are too strong either, although when you first spray it's a little bit heavy, but it fades, and the way it fades just remains unforgettable. And this is definitely one of my personal favorites. I wear it a lot and it forms a good base for some of the other fragrances that I layer on. I tend to layer my fragrances. I don't know why, maybe I'm just the only one who does it, but this forms a good base when you really want things not too sweet and fruity. The next fragrance here is Forever Wanted by Azara, and this is also one of the fragrances I tend to wear a lot to the gym, just because when I start sweating, that is when I start smelling it. It's kind of crazy because when I spray, I do smell it, but it doesn't stay. I personally don't smell it for longer, but once I start sweating, I tend to smell this fragrance more, and I just love it for workout. And this is one of the reasons why I put it under eye activity fragrances, because it's just so strong. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel like if you're going to be going to the gym or, you know, doing a lot of movement and you're worried about like sweating, and I think this is just one of the fragrances that I approved for straight to the gym, definitely. The next fragrance here is Versace's Eros Nahim. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Eros Nahim. Nahim, the J is silent, I guess. This is fresh and seductive. It's one of those fragrances that also very good for eye activity. That's why I put it under this category. I wear it to the gym, you know, often. And I tend to smell this longer though compared to Azara. I think Azara is a little more like quiet, confident, and this is a little bit more like, you know, you smell nice. You smell really nice, but you can feel it, and it's warm. It's a little bit warmer than Azara, and yeah, it's just one of those nice fragrances that I love to wear to the gym. All right, now let's talk about evenings and special moments. I specifically put these fragrances into this category because they have a little more depth to them compared to the other rest of the fragrances. So the first one is Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani. I do like this because it's a little warm, and I would say definitely seductive. It's perfect for date night, or when you're going to be having special contact moments. I think this is definitely a really nice fragrance for that. And now the next fragrance here is Spicebomb Metallic Musk by Viktor and Rolf. I do like this because it has a very high note. If you've had Viktor and Rolf in the past, some of their other ranges, not this particular one, but if you've used some of their fragrances in the past, they have something to them. They're very sharp and, you know, just high note fragrances. But this is also high note, but in a very musky way. And I guess it makes sense, the metallic musk name. I do like this, and I think this is one of the fragrances that I tend to wear a lot in the evenings. So the next fragrance here is Spicebomb Metallic Musk by Viktor and Rolf. This is, if you've had Viktor and Rolf in the past, you would know that they're quite distinct. Like you can easily smell, you can easily tell it's Viktor and Rolf. But this fragrance is a little bit on the edgier side, and I enjoy, you know, using it in the evenings. It's definitely been one of my go-to fragrances for evenings, just because I feel it's warm but in a spicy way. Now the next fragrance here is Grand Soir, and I do like this fragrance for evenings a lot. I would say not all evenings, I would definitely special occasion. It has a rich amber heavy luxurious smell to it, which I tend to like for special occasions, because, and honestly, you don't need more than 2 sprays of this guy because it really just smells powerful and luxurious. I would say definitely for black tie event, no explanation needed. Grand Soir. So really, that's about it. Your fragrance is your invisible signature, and it's just about how to find the right ones and how to combine it, because I always encourage you to combine your fragrances, just because the way one fragrance smell on another person is not going to be the same way it's going to smell on you. We have our natural pheromones that enhances or pronounces these fragrances. So it's just not about choosing which one. and where and when you're going to be wearing different fragrances, and which is also one of the reasons why it's so important to have multiple options where you wear it based on how you feel or where you're going. It's not just about having one and then sticking to it. Of course you want to have your signature style, but it's all about how you define and collect a range of fragrances. Also, when I smell some fragrances on some people and I try it on and I don't like it on myself because it doesn't smell the way it smells on them. So it's all about curating your set of fragrances and deciding on which works for you. Experiment and play. I think fragrances are a fun way of expressing yourself and telling people about who you are. Well, until the next video, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.